Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Delicious in Dungeon. Last time around we had raspberries and grilled meat. We're basically, we got Marcel and Fallon's backstory of how they met each other, where Marcel wanted to create a safe dungeon, but was pretty much a by-the-books sorcerer, and she met Fallon, a free spirit who took her to a real dungeon where she started to learn so many things, and that basically was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And then after that, they were going to head out because they were going to go face the dragon, and then they were attacked by a bubble creature of some variety. And Marcel basically is out of mana and lost a lot of blood, so she's healing up. And where we left off, the cliffhanger was that it seems the gang is about to run into the old, she's not old, but their old buddy, who, one of the two that abandoned them at the beginning of the series after the dragon. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Delicious in Dungeon. I'm very tired, as you can hear, but we're going to press on. Here we go. Alrighty. The font is different on Netflix. Yeah, everything, I don't know, I'll probably won't remember to put it on screen, but all the fonts are different from what they normally are. How odd. Why do I notice things like that? Anyway. Oh, what an interesting episode with Namari. Let me make sure that is, I'm pretty sure it is. This is the thing about, I guess I probably could turn on subtitles, subtitles for the English dub. It's always kind of a shot in the dark whether or not you get subtitles for the English dub or if you get the Japanese subtitles, like the script of the Japanese sub as opposed to the English dub. Anyway, Dungeon Meshi Namari. Yep, that's her name. Far out. Namari, the weapons expert. And then there's the other guy, which I should look up his name too. We'll probably, I imagine we're going to encounter him at some point. Shuro. That's it. Okay. So, it's weird that they say that it's like, oh, Shuro was deeply in love with Fallon and was going to propose to her. So he's probably, trying to find her on his own. And it's just like, but why wouldn't he stick with them? Because they're going to go back and try to save Fallon. So we're probably going to encounter him in the next few episodes, probably. Before we actually find Fallon. I would be curious if Fallon actually rejoins the team, Did I say that last episode? I think I did, but oh boy. It's an interesting thing, man. It's an interesting thing. Boy, we've been at this lake for a little while now, I guess 3 episodes, but still. Oh boy. It is interesting that, honestly, it does make sense for Namari to have quit, just be like, I'm sorry about Fallon. I mean, it's a thing of I understand the whole, joining the team for money, for having that be the reason why, instead of just out of the bonds of friendship, and it's interesting that Chilchuk does that too, he did that, but he stuck around. I mean, I feel like it's a thing of yes, you join for the money and then the friendship comes later, Join for the money, stay for the friends, which honestly I guess is what, that's what Chilchuk does. So, but it's interesting. It's interesting with Namari. honestly, it does make sense why she would leave. I mean, it depends on, are you such an unfeeling person? But at the same time, you do kind of have to imagine it's like they are kind of holding on to almost a vain hope that Fallon is still alive, Like, it's entirely possible she's already dead, which I hope not. But, I mean, it's entirely possible. So, honestly, it makes sense that Nemaria left. And honestly, I like that she didn't rejoin the team, It's like she does want to genuinely be a part of Tansu's team, Not just for the money, but she wants to be a good member of the team. And yeah, it would hurt her reputation to just go back to that party, go back to Laios's party. But even still, And it's interesting because it's like, like I feel like they would have gone with the whole thing of like, well, maybe she temporarily goes back, just to help, and then maybe they try to quash rumors about her so her reputation isn't destroyed. But no, she's just not going with them. She's just not going to go with them. But wish them luck. So, and she did help out. She did help out with attacking the Undine. That's it. So it says there, nice in the description, which is a different font than normal. But yeah, she helped out with capturing the Undine. I do like how she says, like, yeah, no, tall guys aren't actually that strong, Like, Laios is not as strong as, a couple dwarves like Nemaria and Senshi. Which I do like. I mean, like, look, I love a good fucking strong woman, but it's like Spike Spiegel says, I love a woman who can kick my ass. So that was great. I do like that. We did also, by the way, just let's go down the notes a little bit. We finally got the explanation of the whole dying mechanic in this show, that it's specific to this dungeon, which is interesting. So, if you die, your soul is basically shackled to your body. So, as long as you get healed, you don't actually die. Now, it's only the case in the dungeon. I like that. That's an interesting way of doing that, because it's a thing of like it does sort of, because that was kind of the biggest thing with this show where it's like, pretty, not really. I mean, it's obviously not just stock medieval fantasy, but it has that sort of D&D element or that video game element where it's like, yeah, you can die, but you can come back and stuff. But here it's like, no, it's a specific function of the dungeon, and that's really interesting. So, and I like Senshi is just like, that's the magic he hates most of all, is revival magic, which is interesting because he has the whole thing of the dead should stay dead. Bringing someone back, that's not natural, that's not normal. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but that's such a, they call it, what an unusual curse. It's like, yeah, but it's almost a blessing. Like, you can't die. I mean, the only thing is if your body can be destroyed, which that's the thing with Fallon, is that her body is slowly being digested for 1,000 years. But her body is being digested, broken down. So eventually there won't be a body shackled to her soul at all. So that is one thing, but it's interesting. It's like, I understand. Honestly, that's the magic opinion I understand the most with Senshi. Like, it's like, this unnatural ability to revive the dead, But I don't know. I do also like, just speaking of Senshi, I like the moments where, where Nemari's talking about his axe and stuff, and I like how he talks about, it's like, yeah, I got a couple friends that chastise me for not knowing, the difference between ores and stuff. He's just not a weapons guy, he's a food guy. But I do like that, just that little moment of just like, yeah, I'm gonna call my friends and stuff like that. It's like, he does have friends. I do like that. I feel like most other shows, they would have it as like, oh, I've been alone for so long, but now I'm a part of this team or something. It's like, no, he has his own life. You know, he has a life outside of this team. It's just right now, it suits him to be a part of this team and to, you know, go and slay the dragon. Also because he wants to cook it, but he does want to help a bit. He does want to help them, you know, save Fallon. Not even really to save Fallon, but just to, like, take care of them. He's like, oh, these three, they would not be well off without me right now, so yeah. So I like that. And then I liked Marciel's plan of boiling the Undine and using the adamantine pan in order to capture it and then pretty much boil it to death, which is pretty good. So I like that. And then, you know, she starts drinking and is like, I don't know if this will work. But then she's like, wait a minute. What if we cook it? So I like that. And then they make a nice stew. And I like that moment where, you know, you see the stew from Nimari's perspective and it's just this, like, disgusting looking thing. She's like, what the hell? They've really been cooking monsters? Like, oh, this must be some punishment. But as soon as she eats it and actually tries it, then she sees, you know, the beautiful food that we normally see. It does make you wonder, like, is it like all this food that we've seen prepared in this show, is it actually that it's like, no, this does not look good, but it does taste good, you know? Maybe that's what it actually looks like until you eat it, and then it looks beautiful to you, you know? So yeah, but a very interesting episode. I liked seeing Nimari. I liked that she was able to reconcile with them. Even though she didn't rejoin the team, she's still going to be a part of Tansu's team. And I also like that Tansu, you know, because at first he starts out as this, like, arrogant, I'll go deal with this, and then immediately it's just like, okay, so that didn't work. It's like, I like that he's, like, immediately humbled, you know? I hate arrogant people so much, you know? So yeah. So it's really good. This was a good episode, and I'm curious to see where we're going next time. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Delicious and Dungeon reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.